After failing to gain momentum, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum has suspended his presidential campaign. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we talk about the 2024 Republican presidential primary, because everyone, we just received word that North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum has just suspended his presidential campaign after failing to gain any sense of momentum going into next year. Yep, it is officially over. Burgumentum is canceled. It never happened. This is a sad day because I actually like Doug Burgum. Compared to some of these other asshats, he was likable. He was talking about issues that did matter, and he did have a blunder here and there, but I think overall he was a very likable guy, but sadly he just couldn't gain any momentum, and he saw the writing on the wall, and he suspended his campaign. Sad day. But first, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody, now let me be clear. Burgum was never going to win the primary, but I'm still sad because I liked Burgum. A lot of people did, and I would have much preferred him be the nominee than, say, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, etc. He just failed to gain momentum, and him being the governor of North Dakota, yeah, it's not really a well-known, nationally recognized position. It's really not. But let's just get into it. It still is kind of just stunning that he just dropped out, considering the fact he spent quite a bit of money on this race, but he must have realized, well, it's over. But potentially he's trying to set up a future run. Who knows? But let's get into it. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum announced Monday that he's dropping out of the race for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination after failing to qualify for the most recent debates. The RNC's clubhouse debate requirements for nationalizing the primary process and taking the power of democracy away from the engaged, thoughtful citizens of Iowa and New Hampshire, Burgum said in a statement bashing the rules that kept him out of the recent debates. And I kind of agree with him on this. Now, like I said in prior videos and streams, the RNC's rules on paper seemed like a good idea. You wanted to make sure you didn't get like the random bozo off the street from participating. That's one thing. But I delved more into it and you realized, hey, the RNC was able to nitpick what polls counted and what didn't. And that really screwed over people like Burgum, Perry Johnson, Larry Elder, etc. And I think it should have just been the first debate, you just need 1% in Iowa or something. Because when you get the national polls, it's like, I'm not a big fan of that because, frankly, the early states matter. Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina. Now, if you got like 10% nationally, yeah, you should probably qualify. But if you got 1% in multiple polls in Iowa, I think you should be let in. Then for the second and third debate, it should be 2%. Then the fourth and fifth, make it 3, etc. What they did, they kind of just nitpicked which polls counted. They went way higher with the threshold. It was a mess. The RNC's mission is to win elections, he continued. It is not their mission to reduce competition and restrict fresh ideas by narrowing the field months before the Iowa caucuses or the first in the nation New Hampshire primary. I kind of disagree, but I understand where he's coming from. Like, some of these criteria are just like, what? When you've asked Hutchinson and Chris Christie lying on debate stage and they openly said, yeah, we're not going to follow that pledge we signed. We're not going to follow it if Trump's the nominee. But they were allowed to debate? But Burgum wasn't because supposedly the polls didn't count for him? These arbitrary criteria ensure advantages for candidates from major media markets on the coast versus America's heartland. That I agree with. Again, it should have been like, if you reached 3% in 2 polls in Iowa, you should have automatically made the fourth debate, I should say. Not, oh, you have to crack 7% in 30 different polls. That's not the criteria, but still. I understand where Burgum's coming from. He's campaigning heavy in Iowa, in New Hampshire, yet he's screwed over because he's from North Dakota? I understand the RNC doesn't want some random Joe on the debate stage, but still, it's not fair for somebody that's the governor of a very small state going against somebody from Florida, the 3rd largest state. Burgum argued that none of the debate criteria are qualifications for serving as president. He said, this effort to nationalize the primary system is unhealthy for the future of the party, especially for a party that proclaims the value of leadership from outside of Washington. And I agree with it. I mean, the fact he's getting screwed over just because he's from North Dakota, that's not fair. His announcement comes just a few weeks after he set a stop in Des Moines, Iowa, that he would not suspend his campaign before the New Hampshire GOP primary on January 23rd. We're going through all the effort to get our name on all 50 state ballots, he said at the time. Iowa, New Hampshire, absolutely positively. We're going to be here. We're going to be campaigning in Iowa. We're going to be campaigning in New Hampshire. Well, the difference is he thought he was going to make the next debates. And sadly, he did not. That's why he dropped it. Because he realized, if I'm not in the debate stage, I'm not going to be able to gain any momentum. Going into Iowa, going into New Hampshire. Yeah, he poured a lot of money into it, but you still need that national debate stage to get millions of people to know who the hell you are. He reiterated this sentiment later in the month, telling NBC News that staying till New Hampshire was our plan all along. Burgum, who has served as the governor of North Dakota since 2016, consistently trailed many of the other candidates in the polls for the GOP nomination. To qualify for the last GOP debate in Miami, which Burgum failed to do, candidates had to meet the RNC criteria, including accruing at least 70,000 unique donors and meeting a minimum polling requirement of at least 4% in 2 national polls or 1 national and 1 early state poll that met RNC requirements. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that requirement. It should be 3% in 2 polls in Iowa, or 2 national polls at 5% or something. Why should a national poll count more than a poll from Iowa when that's the first caucus? What? Or New Hampshire? Candidates were also required to sign pledges, including one in which he or she had to commit to supporting the Republican Party's eventual nominee. Well, guess what? Christie and Hutchinson lied about it, and they were allowed on the stage. Burgum had also not qualified for the next debate, set for Wednesday. A source close to the matter told NBC News that senior staff of the campaign found out this weekend that Burgum would be dropping out, and the rest of the team found out on Monday morning. The source said that Burgum, whose campaign is mostly self-funded, is paying the team through December. Okay, this is why I like Burgum. It's not like Tim Scott where he magically dropped out without anybody knowing. He told large chunks of his staff about, hey, I'm dropping out this week. And he's also paying his staff through the entire month of December so they can find new jobs. Hey, I respect him for it. He's not like Tim Scott or Mike Pence that dropped out of the blue for no reason. They just, we're dropping out. His most recent filings show that the campaign had raised $12.2 million for Burgum himself out of a total $15.2 million. And that's a big reason why his campaign really couldn't get going. He just couldn't get the donors needed to run. Yeah, he could self-fund, but look what Mike Bloomberg spent. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars when he's a multi-billionaire. And he still got crushed. You need grassroots donors, and Burgum just wasn't able to get that. So overall, this is a very sad day, but I respect Burgum for telling his staff a week before, I'm probably dropping out, at least most of the staff. Some of them found out, but He's paying everybody through December, and he just admitted that, hey, I'm not going to qualify for the next debates. Why should I continue? There's no reason for me to continue running if I can't even make the next debate. Which is 100% true. If you're not making the next debate, it's over. But I do agree, the RNC needs to fix its debate rules. There's no reason why, you need 4% in national polling just to qualify. National? I think it should be 2 state polls from Iowa, and then there, you're done. If you want to have, like, a higher threshold for national polling, fine. But, like Burgum said, he gets screwed over just from being from North Dakota. Even though he is polling at 3 to 4% in Iowa. Either way, folks, we just got to see what happens. We're going to see who drops out next, but I was stunned by this. I really thought it was going to be not Burgum dropping out. I thought Hutchinson was next. But Burgum is the next one that bites the dust. Very sad day. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.